What am I looking for from the sports information department when I go to cover a game or cover a particular team? Well, first and foremost, most of the sports information departments and people that I work with are terrific. They work very hard at their jobs and they don't get nearly the recognition they deserve because they have to run around and wear so many different hats and do so many different things. But if I'm offering advice for people trying to break in, my first thing is be accessible, because we need to be able to get in touch with you to find out things that we're going to need for the broadcast when we get to your particular school. So that would be before we get there, and then of course after we arrive. We hope that we're not going to be too much of a pain, but at the same time, we want you to be accessible so we can find you. The second thing is, let us know what we can and cannot do while we are there, because you're going to get hit with a ton of questions, and we will do whatever you allow us to do. But for the most part, you know what the do's and the don'ts are for your school, for your coach, for your program. So make sure you're ready with that, because that would make things a lot easier. If you tell us we can't do something, we just move on to the next thing and see what else we can get. Suggesting stories, suggesting storylines, suggesting ideas, we're always open to that. Anything we can get from you to learn more about your school and your institution is terrific. But at the same time, if there's certain things that you have this an agenda that you're trying to push that doesn't fit with our broadcast, we're not going to be able to make that part work, but we'll try and do everything else that we can, because you're going to enlighten us on so many different things. Another thing is the clip file, what I call the clip file or the media file. Nowadays, so many things are on computers that most of the time people will say, well, hey, just go, it's on our website, it's on our link. I travel like crazy, so I'm going to speak for myself, and I know I'm not alone. Many people are still old-fashioned enough to like the hard copies in their hands. So if you have a hard copy clip file that we request in advance, so much the better. We get to devour those articles, learn more about your team, more about your institution. That's a big, big help. And I know it's difficult for you sometimes, but if you have that always accessible and are able to just send it out to us, trust me, we're going to be very grateful to you for that. And then rosters, updates, things of that nature, anything that you have. Nothing worse than getting into a game and then, in the middle of the first quarter, looking down and saying, we don't have a 47 on our roster. We don't have a 47 on the depth chart. I don't have a 47 on my boards. Who is this person? And then having to seek out that information. Everything in advance, a huge, huge help. And I know sometimes it's tough because sometimes the coaches don't tell you everything that you need to know. Last but not least, when we come to your campus, if you teach a class or you have an aspiring journalism class or people who are interested in what we do, a lot of us are not averse to going to that class and meeting with them and seeing those kids. Because trust me on this, that energizes us for the most part. It's not as much of a chore as you might think. Sometimes you look at it and go, oh God, I've got to go meet this class. And then after you're done with it, you're so glad that you did, because people helped us along the way too. That's our way of helping to give back.